College football apostles is back after week 1 in college football. We're looking forward to week 2, but there were so many storylines that went on this weekend that we didn't get a chance to talk about on the Sunday live show. Um, College football apostles is back after week 1 in college football. We're looking forward to week 2, but there were so many storylines that went on this weekend that we didn't get a chance to talk about on the Sunday live show. What's up with Kirk Herbstreit's dog? The Arch Manning, the reality of the situation. We got to talk about DMs and secret things that have been going on. We got to talk about the FPI. We got to talk about TCU and Bill Belichick. What the hell happened, fam? And so much more. You guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend about the show. I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football analyst, former college football player. We got Ralph Amsden, the man who knows everything, the man who covers prep sports, college sports, knows where everybody went to high school and their favorite food as well. Um, uh, Ralph, what was your, well, actually, I'll go first because we're going to give our biggest takeaways from week 1 of college football. And mine were, first of all, is that I don't believe we need preseason college football, but inter squad scrimmages, like allowing Washington State to scrimmage Washington in the preseason. That's what we need, the way we can get a better product on the field week 1.
Yeah, that's a great point. Didn't Jim Phillips just called an emergency meeting or something like that to see what they need to do about maybe getting everybody to 10 Power 4 games, or if the
Yes.
ACC needs to move to 9 games. I know you're a big proponent for 9 conference games. The ACC is a little tricky because they have so many outside of the conference rivalries that they got to get in. And
Yes.
so this might be a way to squeeze in some stuff to make sure that those fan bases meet up. And I'm not saying that you're going to
See,
be
I don't
doing
even need
Florida
it to be
State,
on
Florida.
TV. I don't need it to be sold. I just want the players to get used to touching somebody other than themselves. And you know what? Let some of the media people in. That way they don't believe that Alabama is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Everybody, Josh Payton told you, Greg McElroy told you, everybody that Nick say, everybody that went to practice told you this felt different until they lined up on the field and they were like, oh yeah, it ain't like that. My second biggest takeaway is that ESPN's FPI is hot ass garbage, bro. It could not be any more hot garbage. How on earth, after this last weekend, is Texas still the #1 team in the nation? According to who they would be ranked against, play the predictive run 5,000 models, they would win against everybody. We saw them play one game, particularly when there's less data. They're ranked #1. They're way above Ohio State, somebody was in front of them too. Last week, Iowa State was in front of Kansas State. I'm sorry, Kansas State was in front of Iowa State as well. That made not even a lick of sense considering that we literally saw them play. And to make it even worse, there was a team that was 40th. The team that was 40th, Florida State. Florida State is number 40. Guess who, Ralph, is number 13?
Well, I'm gonna say it's probably someone Florida State just mopped the floor with.
Alabama. So how's Alabama number 13 and Florida State number 40 in the FPI in the predictive measures? They got their ass whooped. That wasn't just a one-off. That you feel like if they line that up again, the same thing will happen.
Yeah, I love the idea of you being upset at like an algorithm because I don't know what to do about it. Predictive models should really be for gamblers using it as something that might influence AP voters or something like that is completely insane to me.
Yes, and the fact that the SEC, this is the whole reason why the SEC went to 9 conference games, is because they said that they were going to account for the FPI in these metrics into strength of schedule and all of this stuff. So you got Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ole Miss 4, then you got Tennessee 8, South Carolina 10, LSU 11. Why is LSU 11? That's a good question. Florida 12, Alabama 13, Texas A&M 14, Miami 15. I can't. I can't. I don't even know what to even do about this, Ralph. SMU
I
fell 6 spots by the way. And
and they like
Kansas State is
and
still ranked in front of Iowa State. No, oh,
after
sorry.
Kansas
Excuse
State.
me. I lied. That one got fixed this
Oh,
week.
so the FPI saw enough of Kansas State almost losing to North Dakota to be able to make the
Yes,
determination that maybe they would lose to the team that already beat them and would have beat them by more if it wasn't for a missed field goal.
exactly. And then my last takeaway was that nobody looks elite right now because I can't judge Oregon, Penn State, um, Oregon, Penn State. I can't judge Georgia or any of the other teams that didn't play meaningful competition. So I am going to reserve judgment on those teams. So for right now, I'm going to say none of the teams that played other Power Four teams look elite right now. What were your
I would
takeaways?
agree with that. I would agree with that. I would say that it's hard to judge a Big 12 team, but Iowa State looks pretty good.
Yes.
But elite is a different thing. So I'm with you on that. My 3 takeaways from this weekend, and let me know what you think of this. Number one, Warby Parker, the
The
eyeglasses. As
eyeglass
an
plate?
eyeglass wearer, yes, as an eyeglass wearer, this affects me and I care about it. Warby Parker needs a refund for that Arch Manning TV spot that they ran in the second quarter of Ohio State, Texas, because
Why do
they
they need a
spend all
refund,
this
Ralph?
money. Well, it's getting to the point where it feels like I feel a certain way about Arch Manning. And it's not Arch Manning the football player. I wish him the absolute best. I don't have anything to say about Arch Manning the football player. Arch Manning the pitch man uh, might might turn me into my greatest version of being a hater. I
Why?
cannot stand how he handled the NCAA contract that he signed with EA, which you told me would happen.
Yep.
You told me that it was BS when he said, "I'm just here to focus on football," that was a negotiating tactic. And it was true. But I don't like that throws anybody under the bus that did want that like $600 when it first came out to be part of the game, that they weren't focused on football because they wrote their name down one time. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I thought it was very, very dumb at the time. His Red Bull ad, I'm on the record saying that I think that's the stupidest thing in the entire world. I didn't come to college. I didn't come to college football to do NIL deals, but I do like to drink a Red Bull from time to time. Trust me. Like like that was that it reminds me of like when you saw the Tiger Woods documentary and they're all in a room with Nike, and it's like, yeah, it's extremely powerful that Tiger Woods has faced discrimination in his path to being the greatest golfer of all time, and at this point it was still early, but that was a marketing campaign. It was crafted in a conference room at like a Marriott. The idea that like Arch Manning is sitting in a conference room with a bunch of executives from Red Bull, and they're like, "Let's talk about how you aren't into NIL." When he's in that room negotiating what the commercial's going to be, having it pitched to him, very stupid, very disingenuous. Just like the EA thing, completely disingenuous. So that's strike two. That this guy is doesn't mean anything, doesn't stand for anything, is just here to sling products. And I love America and I love capitalism, but like sometimes it gets corny. This
Hey,
Warby
hold on.
Parker one,
So here's what I will actually I will let you finish. I will let you finish your soapbox right here.
Okay, so I wear eyeglasses. Shout out to Warby Parker. For Prada to slap their name on your frames, all of a sudden something that costs $15 gets marked up to 400. Insurance covers part of it. Everybody makes out. Warby Parker is like it costs less. Like you send in your prescription, you get some glasses. It's nice. I would love for them to advertise on this show. I'm not gonna come up with a very very dumb story to tell. I lost my vision at like 25, and I wasn't able to see street signs as I was driving by, and it became a safety issue. So,
Okay.
but the story that Arch Manning told in this commercial is like, I was a kid and I couldn't see, and so my family, with all this money, went to a discount eyeglass supplier in Warby Parker, and all of a sudden that gave me the ability to read playbooks on the bus. And his dad is in there mythologizing him of like, hey, he wouldn't have been this great quarterback, which I think he had 26 passing yards at the time that this commercial ran. And and the idea that he's reading playbooks on the bus because of Warby Parker, and then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, my playbooks were pictures. They're just pictures of arrows.
Bro, you went so logical with this. So here's
He
where
has 3 ad deals. He has 3 major ad deals, and they're all very stupid.
so see, here's the thing. I don't mind, and then the Viore ad played too. I don't mind any of the ads because at some point in time, we all have our highest earning potential. Sometimes it's in your teens, sometimes it's in
Mm.
your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever it is. In that 10-year period, you're going to make more money than you will in any other 10-year period in the rest of your life, or 5-year period. And Arch Manning may be in that 5-year period right now because he may not. If he keeps playing like he is, it's gonna age like DJ Uiagalelei in his season starting at Clemson when they gave him all them ads, the Dr. Pepper ad and all them other ads before the season started, and then about halfway through the season they were like, let's turn those off. Let's run the ad from last year. So he has to play better because the like it's gonna do the opposite for the brands. And I hope he does play better because but some of this is, and you've covered recruiting for a long time, Ralph. So a lot of this is that we didn't have a full picture of Arch Manning because he played against low level competition in New Orleans, even though in Louisiana, even though he looked phenomenal against them. So he didn't go to Elite 11, didn't go to Rivals, didn't go to Under Armour camp, any of those things. And that's where all the smoke is. Like you get a chance to compete against other people, and and you get a chance to, I mean, people can judge you against other people. He was just going to the college football camps. Now, mind you, I'm not disagreeing with the methodology because that may turn out to be a great methodology. And if it works, I'll do the same thing with my kid. But I do think that going to at least some level of these events is important because you do have to be able to compete against other people and be there for the smoke. Like when people have bad energy at you and everybody's not praising you and all those things, I think those things are important.
Yeah, I'm not mad that he's getting paid, and I do want him to perform well on the field. I just think maybe Warby Parker should have shot 2 commercials. And if they saw the direction that game was going, maybe there should have been a commercial of him like running into the locker room and being like, man, I really need my Warby Parkers right now. I'm seeing ghosts or something. Like just something to acknowledge that maybe some eyeglasses, some off-brand eyeglasses would help him in that moment. I want him to do great. It's just the way that him or his team has gone about some of these sponsorship deals. They made the suggestion that anybody who was signing with EA wasn't focused on football. They made the suggestion that like, yeah, like I'll drink a Red Bull, so this is an easy advertisement for me.
Yeah.
And then his other 2 things are like discount eyewear and yoga clothing
Hey,
for,
man.
you know, wearing
It's
to the barbecue or whatever.
athleisure. Um, did you have any other takeaways from this weekend?
Yeah, I went a little hard on that one, but I just want to throw out ESPN Plus, at least for the first week, sucked. I paid the money. I paid the initial $30 to do the $30 a month. Was watching Arizona State NAU. The feed went out and it was audio only for a good hour and a half. And then I heard other games were messing up too. If they're going to charge people, they got to get that right. Um, you know, and hopefully it ends up being like the whole like Steve Jobs showing off Windows XP and it crashed, and then it ends up being their best thing ever. I get that the rollout can be tough. We have technical difficulties sometimes, but this is Disney. They're a billion-dollar
Hey,
company. If you bought tickets to the movie Soul to see it in theaters and it was audio only for an hour and a half, you'd want a refund. And
yes,
so that's
yes.
how I
You
feel about Disney right now.
hey couldn't be me. Couldn't be my team.
And I will throw this out there. I feel like I have become a loser uh, who is siding with the referees, and I never thought that would be me. But like you, I've got multiple games on at the same time, which means I don't always have the audio on the game I'm watching. And
Yeah,
I didn't have the audio on the South Carolina Virginia Tech game, and I didn't have the audio on the LSU Clemson game. And on both occasions, I thought that the catches that were overturned were not catches. And I was watching audio off. I wasn't scrolling through my feed. Like on first sight to me, both of those did not have the continuation of the catch that, according to what I understand of the rules.
yeah.
But I saw people were mad as hell online about both of those. And to me, neither one was
I
a
didn't
catch.
think they were catches either. I'm not getting ready to sit here and act. I mean, based upon how they've called it, like I thought the Dez Bryant thing a long time ago should have been a catch. But since we have established that that's not a catch, cool. Play by the rules. I can live with the rules as long as you keep them consistent. All right. We had a lot of other things going on this week. So, Ralph, what do we have for the rest of this joint?
Uh, George, I don't know if you know this, but Oklahoma State is broke as hell, and Oregon is Mr. Moneybags, and Mike Gundy had something to say about it. I'm curious as to your take on what Mike Gundy had to say about Oregon and just his prep comments to the media. And he's a talker; he'll talk about the purchasing power that Oregon has for building a roster and how it kind of puts Oklahoma State at an unfair advantage, as well as the rebuttal from Dan Lanning, where he said that he's happy to be part of an organization that has stuff and that some people save so that they have an excuse, which was a hell of a line. I just curious your thoughts about that exchange by proxy between Mike Gundy and Dan Lanning.
Yeah. Okay. So, first thing is, I hated this from Mike Gundy. Hated it with the power of a thousand suns. Excuses. You're making excuses before the game even starts. Oh, they spend so much money. I can't believe that, they spent $40 million on their roster last year, which was not true, first of all. That like the numbers get inflated all the time. Remember last year, oh, Oregon spent $20 million, and then now it's $40 million, and then Ohio State spent $80 million on their roster last year. Dude, you are a Power Four coach at Oklahoma State who had a winning program. This is not anybody's fault, Mike Gundy, except for yours. You admitted it yourself. I thought the transfer portal at NIL were going to go away. What land are you living in? States were passing laws. When did you think that this was going to go away? And if you bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, like it's going to change. It was never going to change. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So the idea that this man had the audacity to think it would go away is why he's in this position right now. And now he's whining before the game. And Dan Lanning, the last sentence that Dan Lanning said in his rebuttal to it was amazing. He said, I have no idea, what they got in their pockets over there. I'm sure UT Martin maybe didn't have as much as them last week. And they played, so we'll let it play out. I was like, bro, that is so savage. So we'll let it play out. That sounds like that if Dan Lanning let the cameras back in like he did against Colorado, where he was like, we're out there for the real and they're out there for clicks. He would be like, lock the gates, don't let them out. We are going to make them tap out and say uncle. And after they tap out, we're still gonna choke them out and break their neck. After you give up, we're still gonna end you. This game is going to be ugly. It is going to be a bloodbath.
Well, as you and I talked about before we went live, pokes is a phrase used to describe cowboys because they prod the cattle, right? Like they poke them to get them moving. And so, go pokes is the hashtag for Oklahoma State. He did a good job of poking the Ducks for no reason at all. Like, what are you going to make a bunch of players who are already excited to go out there and bash skulls with you? You're going to call them just a bunch of rich boys who don't have any motivation?
Yeah.
Or that like they're going to come out and they're going to show you what's up. And it's funny that the line in Oregon versus Oklahoma State is the same as the line was for Oregon Montana State. Which Oregon covered quite nicely against Montana State. But
we're talking
I do want to say this:
27.5 points.
Yes, 27.5 points, which I think they'll probably cover, especially now. But it's not just that Oklahoma State just came off playing UT Martin. It's that they have Tulsa after a bye next. After that, it's that T. Boone Pickens helped elevate Oklahoma State to where they ultimately had 16 years of a winning record under Mike Gundy. His lack of awareness sometimes is very, very funny, and like running out in the One American News Network shirt and being like, "What? I just like my news programs." Like, why would this ever upset anyone? His lack of awareness is funny at times. It's entertaining, and you and I have talked a bunch about this. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's long for this world. I don't think he has the adaptability. He's a guy that might want to move up to the NFL level or something like that. Because if you can't adapt, last year he made headlines for saying like, get these dudes off my phone trying to renegotiate. And this year he's like, hey, we finally paid players. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah.
He's just he's an interesting dude, and I find it very entertaining. I'm sure Dan Lanning loved it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when you say, hey, those guys over there have money, you're recruiting on their behalf. So I think Oregon fans should be grateful for what Mike Gundy had to say.
And then you bludgeon them. So they're like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to get bludgeoned. I'll go to the bludgeoner, not the bludgeoning.
George, let's talk about the fact that money doesn't mean that you're going to win, because 5 different coaches that made 10 plus million annually on their current contracts lost this weekend. Bill Belichick was one of them. Kalen DeBoer was one of them. Dabo Swinney was one of them. Just because you got that money, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. Class of 2022, Texas A&M, they bought the greatest recruiting class of all time up to that point. It ended with Jimbo Fisher getting bought out and half those guys going to school somewhere else. So what do you think about that? That 5 coaches that make 10 plus million did not win.
Okay. Now, I have to give Sark and Dabo a pass for this. Only because they were playing 2 other coaches who are in that list. So it was like playing a conference game. Somebody had to lose. You know what I mean? So they both couldn't be winners in the situation. Somebody had to lose. But I definitely agree that just because, like, people expect that just because something costs a lot of money that it is going to work and that it is going to be the best possible thing. And we've seen in college football that that's not the case, because building rosters is important, and also building a roster continuously, because sometimes we've seen, like Mike Norvell did one year, they go 13-0, transfer portal properly, had the right quarterback, everything fit properly. Next year, you try to do the exact same thing, it don't work. So I think that this shows the importance of building a roster, and not just for one particular season. That the coach's overall goal can't just be about that 1 year. It's got to be about the overall health of the program going forward, and not bringing in transfers that are going to destroy your culture and get other kids to transfer who you are developing. That is like a balance.
That is a very good point. It is that is a good point, and people want it to be a 1-to-1. Money equals success, but I mean, you're a Lakers fan. The Yankees exist. It's not. It doesn't always mean success. You're also a Dodgers fan. They go about it a little bit differently, but they got all the resources in the world, right?
Yes, but they develop. Their farm system is always one of the best in all of Major League Baseball. So it's like they are focusing on now, but they are also like, yeah, we're gonna develop these younger guys and bring them up to the bigs. And if they work out, cool. But at the same time, if we need something, we have developed them. We'll trade them away, and then we'll go develop more guys because we got plenty in the pipeline.
Well, with expectation comes one, disappointment, and two, getting your ass clowned on the internet uh, by everyone else.
Yep.
And that is what happened to Bill Belichick all night on a Monday night with nothing else going on, going into a Tuesday. And this is, it's not just random fans, it's Texas Christian University social media is
Oh my
killing,
God, dude, they cook
killing
that
Bill
like their
Belichick right now.
actual Twitter account, cooking them.
They're asking when the first episode of that North Carolina documentary comes out. They got players poking fun at Bill um, on social media. So I got to ask you about this because the NFL is a much bigger deal than college football. You played
Yes.
in both. You know this to be true. When people say the NFL is king, like I feel like college football is like the prince running around spending money doing whatever he wants. But the NFL truly is the king. They could
Yes.
put their foot on the neck of college football if they wanted to. They could move half the games to Saturday, and that's a wrap, right?
Yep.
But Bill Belichick, in my opinion, was protected by like you couldn't go out and crush Bill Belichick as a player because someday you might be playing for him. Coaches have respectability politics that they have to abide by in the NFL. In college, it is a free for all, and this man is going to have his name drugged through the mud every single week, win or lose, rain or shine. Do you think he's ready for that?
Yes. I don't think he cares. I think his girlfriend cares. I don't think he cares. I think she's protective of the Bill Belichick name and all of this stuff. And he's like, bro, I want to coach some football. Um, First thing is he chose the wrong quarterback to start the season. Gio Lopez started. Max Johnson is the better option. We saw that last night. Like Gio couldn't throw the ball to save his life. And Max Johnson came in and was just do against the same defense. And it was just they looked ill prepared. Ill prepared outside of that first drive. It was the defense was bad, people fumbling all over the place. It was bad. I just and granted, sometimes it takes a while for you to get stuff together, but I mean, Mac Brown probably would have lost that game yesterday, but it would have been like 56-31 instead of, instead of what it was. And it's going to take a while, but you would have thought though that schematically the defense would have been better. And when we hear all of the talk about, who the SEC wants, who the Big Ten wants when it comes to expansion again, North Carolina and Virginia are the people that they keep pointing at. And I hear people like, why them? And because it's like there's way more successful programs, but apparently there is money, there is interest in them. So, and North Carolina has a lot of really good players in high school football. This feels like what they call Arizona State, that this is a sleeping giant. And they got the opportunity. It's just not making its way to the field yet. So I'm going to reserve judgment on Billy B until at least a little bit past halfway. If they're not playing better, I don't care about the wins and losses. If they're getting drugged through the mud and not showing any progress, then yes. But I am here for all the funnies on the internet, though. I'm not even getting ready to sit here and lie. Like, I'm not laughing. They had the girlfriend. They saw a video of the girl. It was a video of his girlfriend walking up to him prior to the game, and she like has like a 3 second conversation with him, and then walks off, and the caption was, "Hey, hey, Dad, can I have some money for the snack bar?"
Man,
I'm
it's
here for all
and
the funnies though.
you had TCU players like making fun of his relationship status on. You had Brett McMurphy killing him online. You had people pointing out that his backup quarterback's the same age as his girlfriend. There's all sorts of stuff going on. I kind of feel about Bill Belichick in college football the way I feel about Arch Manning. Um, I actually want him to succeed. I think it'd
Yeah.
be awesome. I don't want to see anybody fail. I would love to see him, develop some of these kids to become what the 33rd NFL team is kind of what they're pitching to people. I love all that. I do just want to point out that it has been true Bill Belichick's entire career. There are people around him glomming off of the success of him and claiming it in certain ways. I've never been a Mike Lombardi fan. He
Okay.
was in the media for a while. He spent 5 years beating up on Kyler Murray. I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray defender, but it is funny to me that he goes to be like the player personnel management guy for North Carolina. They go and get a running quarterback in Gio Lopez because in their mind they're like, oh, college football, if your quarterback can run, you'll have more of a chance. Like, meanwhile, you have a 24-year-old Max Johnson who can run this off. He's ready to go, ready to help make you competitive. And he went through hell last year, and it's a great storyline. And then behind him, you have Bryce Baker, who to me is one of the best high school quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. And this is no shade to Gio Lopez, but you can't just go get a guy who can run and be like running equals success. That's like saying money equals success. No, it's about the right people in the right situations. And what good is a running quarterback going to do for you if you're down 30?
Yep. It does nothing. It's one of those things. It is a luxury when everything is going right in other ways, but when it comes to actually, like, at some point in time, you do have to just drop back and be able to throw the football at a high level.
So my question for you, George, is this just natural, the natural course correction? Because you've brought it up, you said it on Sunday, you said it other times. We love to build people up so that we can tear them down, so that we can kind of get an accurate assessment. And then we love a comeback story too. But we'll set up the comeback story. We'll build
Yes.
somebody up, tear them down just to give them the opportunity to have a comeback. That's as American as apple pie. But now we're in that situation with three different people right now. And I want you to give me the likelihood that they come out of this on the other side.
Okay.
Number one, Bill Belichick. The storylines wrote themselves. Greatest NFL coach of all time, going to come to college football. He gives up his most points ever in his first college game, and now there's all these haters. What are the likelihood he comes out on the other side and is redeemed? And what does he have to do? Are we talking natty? Are we talking win the ACC?
No, no, no. I think
Like
he
what
just
what would make people think?
put a very competent team on the field next season. I'm gonna go with a 45% chance that he does that.
Okay, Arch Manning. We gave him, and I say we, I used to work with rivals. We gave him like number one quarterback status. He never had to go to any camps. He never had to play any real competition in high school. He
And we
sat
were
2 years on the bench
always
behind Quinn
talking
Ewers.
about that. Like, I don't know.
You and I were, but not everybody. Some people really, really bought into it, including all of his corporate sponsors. He goes out, he throws for 26 yards in the first half, loses to Ohio State. Nobody really looked good in that game. He has played well before against different competition. He's in a great offense. He's got great talent around him. They've got a schedule where he's gonna do some things. What are the chances he redeems himself?
Oh, 80, 9.9%. Actually,
So what does that
yeah.
include? Getting drafted?
No. We're not even going that far yet because Archie told us don't get to talking about that draft. Uh, their next three opponents: San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State. He will scorch and he will cook. It is a 89.9% chance that he lights both of those games up. But now when he goes to Florida, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, they're, oh my God, this schedule. What is this? I know Florida's cool, but we don't. We'll see about them. Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma that's going to be a tough game. Oh man, they got the layup version of the SEC schedule this year. So yes, 89.9%.
All right, and my last one before we get to Wrighster or Wrong. What are the odds that Kirk Herbstreit comes back from us being a bunch of hating ass haters about his dog? Because the best storyline of college football last year, built up by ESPN, Kirk Herbstreit got a dog. He brings it with him everywhere. Ben passes away. He gets a puppy. Everybody loves the puppy. And now here we are at the beginning of year 2 of it. And everything I see online is like, there was one tweet that was so funny. It was like, oh, I forgot that Kirk Herbstreit is the only person in the history of the universe that has ever owned a dog. And then your boy Quincy Avery was like, I hate dogs. I hate Kirk Herbstreit for this dog thing. Why are we doing this? And his mentions are a little hot right now. But,
Okay.
you know, this feels like the most natural, most American thing ever. Oh, a cute puppy. Get that damn puppy out of my face.
Yes. Same thing. It's like a baby. Oh my God, such a cute baby. Get that crying baby out of the movie theater. Now, yes, it was last season. Kirk Herbstreit's dog was sick. All of those things. That's gonna hit people in the feels. Okay, and then he posts about the dogs all the time. But remember, here's the thing we always have to remember. There's going to be public backlash about things. Like they hated Jesus. So of course they're gonna hate Kirk Herbstreit's dog, including me included. Like I don't hate the dog. I'm just like, I've grown tired of the dog. And it I understood why everybody was so attached to it last year, but I guarantee you there are a lot of people. There's like the ASPCA and shelters and Alpo and Blue Diamond and every other dog science diet hills and everybody else. They are lining up to give him money. So yes, Kurt should probably keep leaning into the dog. But as far as viewers, I'm just over the
to
dog.
ruin his
Like
life.
this is a whole new dog. The sick dog is gone, you know, and now you're gonna try to make us fall in love with a new dog. And it's like it's not bring your dog to work every day. That's the thing is that he's turned this into like bring your dog to work every day, and now we're gonna have people fake more people faking like they got emotional support animals when they just want to bring their dog who's gonna pee in the middle of the airport in the airport because it's actually not trained like a service dog. Okay.
Even your guy Ryan Leaf was having fun with it, trying to say he's trying to get his pet goat on campus, and they wouldn't let him. I'll say this. Okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. Number one is just the like we get it culture. Like we get it, we heard about it, we get it. But it's not going to stop because it's a dog, because it's puppies. Like
Yes.
you don't understand, and this is a two Americas thing, George. And you've been around a lot of white people, but we love dogs.
Y'all kiss y'all dogs in the mouth.
We love dogs.
Wait, do you
love
do you kiss your dogs in the mouth?
No, I don't like it when my dog licks me. That's the tongue belongs in the mouth. I don't like when anybody just walks up and starts licking me. Let's not read into this, but like no, I don't. If my dog licks me one time, I'm like, that's enough of that.
Okay.
And I got two dogs. I will always have two dogs. I daydream. This is horrible. This is horrible. I daydream about the next dog. Like I love my dogs, and someday like I'm gonna have more dogs, and those dogs will be cool too.
Oh,
But they're my
we are going to
dogs,
be a
and
dogless family soon for a little while. We need a little bit of dog space because we've had dogs
I
for.
love the
So when
I
these go,
I love the
it's a break.
excitement of being dog free. You're right. I love the excitement of the idea of being dog free. You could travel. You don't have to deal with
Yes.
all a bunch of different stuff that just pops up out of nowhere, pissing on the carpet. Just you're enjoying a nice evening, and the dog just throws up for no
Y-
reason because they drank too fast. All that stuff can be a dog hair. Dog hair is so annoying. I My wife could be having the best day of her life, and if she sees dog hair in the corner, she has to clean the whole house. So yeah, there's stuff that I'd like to be rid of at some point, but also like I need somebody or something to absorb this energy. It can't all go to my wife and kids. They'll get so sick of me. I need to just be able to go take the dog for a walk, and I'm not bothering anybody, and the dog's happy. The dog thinks I'm a great person. That's a nice ego boost in a cruel world. But the dog thing, just to get back to Kirk Herbstreit, he should just keep doing him. But it is a very two Americas thing, and it is funny to see some of the pushback from people who are like, why is this sanitary? Why are they letting this dog in the room, in the house? That dog's not for hunting. It's not for anything
Yes.
other than to make a man not feel so anxious. And people don't want to be reminded about their own fragility. And people get jealous. They're like, I can't take my dog places. Why did he get to take his dog places?
Oh,
So I would
that
love for the conversation
I'm
to
gonna
be
tell
about
you that
college
right
football.
now. That rubs people the wrong way. They're like, oh, really? Oh, of course, they let Kirk take his dog wherever the hell he want to take his dog. I can't take my dog over here, and yeah, that yeah that doesn't go over well with people at all.
Well, let's move on from the dog thing because we're making it worse right now. Let's get into some Wrighster or wrong. I'm going to present you with some situations, and I want you to tell me if the person involved was Wrighster or they were wrong
Ooh,
for doing what they did.
okay.
And my first one up this week, one of the stranger college football stories, and I feel bad for even laughing, but Tulane beat the piss out of Northwestern. And after the game, Tulane coach John Sumrall came on in the post game presser, and he did two things. First, he admitted that they used Northwestern not letting them have tribute uniforms to the Katrina era.
Yeah.
That he admitted that he used it as motivation. So like he came out and
He
admitted
yes.
that he kind of made up the thing to get mad about, and then he bought in. He got mad, so he used it as motivation, and then it
And
looked
then
like
riled
he really
himself up,
upset
like talked
himself,
himself
and
into. He
he
is
was legit upset, and it upset other people.
He is 100% Reister. And so for people who don't know how it works, the road team gets to pick which uniforms that they wear because they typically wear white on the road, like or their lighter color on the road, and then the home team wears the darker. Now sometimes and mind you, all of these decisions are made months in advance. Like this isn't the week of the game. This is months in advance. Like we're talking June, May. All of this is decided because, or even earlier, because the equipment managers have to have everything. They got to order everything, make sure the cleats show up on time, the right colors, all of those things. So, so the issue though is that they told their opponent why they wanted to do it. There's no way that they were just like, "Yo, can we wear this? Yo, it's Katrina." There's a Netflix documentary that's #1 on Netflix right now about it. It was going to be a cool little thing. It changed the whole city. It changed the country because George Bush hates white people.
No, no, he doesn't care about black
Oh
people, is
yes,
what
yes,
Kanye said.
yes, yes. George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was Kanye. So why on earth would you say no? That's the thing that makes no sense. Is why would you go against it? It'd be different if there were a logistical reason. Then Tulane could be like, well, there's nothing that they could do about it. So it is what it is. But if you could do something about it, we got nothing to tell you.
I found it very. I just found it very interesting that like John Sumrall used it to motivate the team,
Yeah.
but it clearly is deeply. I mean, and it should. It's one of the most devastating things to ever happen in this country. And he was very worked up, and he was very sad and mad. And today we got to see David Braun's response, which kind of mirrored John Sumrall's, because he said, we certainly did not mean to disrespect, and they've connected and they've talked it out. Certainly did not mean to disrespect them. I think he did a great job of using it to motivate his team, because they went out there and they played with a lot of spirit and they played very
Yeah.
motivated. And then David Braun said in 2006, he went with a group of people to spend a week in New Orleans to muck houses and clean up. And that this trip for Northwestern was his first time back in New Orleans since he was helping with the Katrina cleanup. And then he teared up. And so there's just something in this interaction. John Sumrall reflecting on Katrina and David Braun reflecting on Katrina, where you got to see the emotions of both of these men.
Is it
Of
possible
like something
that they didn't know why?
I don't think Northwestern was going out there trying to be like to. It could have been just an inconvenience issue on their part. Like, no, we already did all this work, and then they didn't really project how it would come back on them, maybe. But to see both these grown men like tears in their eyes talking about Katrina, it really like it's sobering. I highly encourage people to watch both of those clips.
Yep. Yeah, it was good.
It was very interesting.
And I appreciate people that can, when they screw up or they don't get something right, they can be like, you know what, I can say that.
Okay, so next up, Wrighster or wrong, Dabo snitched on LSU's AJ Halsey, got him suspended for the first half because the conference had forgotten that AJ Halsey was thrown out in his last game at University of Houston before transferring to LSU for fighting. Chris Fowler said on the broadcast that Dabo did admit to alerting whoever needed to be alerted, and that got AJ Halsey suspended for the first half. Everybody was calling Dabo a snitch. Is it snitching if it has nothing to do with you? I thought the whole no snitching thing was about your people, your crew.
No
was
snitching.
Dabo Wrighster or wrong?
He's 100% Wrighster. You are a college football coach trying to get a competitive advantage against another team. Rules are rules. I mean, aren't you going to point out if somebody steps on the sideline and the ref doesn't, and you're not sure if the ref sees you? Be like, yo, he stepped out, and then the ref, oh damn, he did step out. I'm tripping. Yes, you're going to point it out. The whole no snitching culture is insanely stupid. Insanely stupid, because it's supposed to apply to people doing crimes. So if I'm a law-abiding citizen and you go commit a murder and I see you, or you rob a bank and I see you, the police come over and yo, George, did you see anything? Hell yeah, I saw him do that. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you snitched. I'm not a criminal. I'm not held to your standard. And do you know what criminals do whenever they get jammed up, Ralph?
Snitch.
They snitch. So how are you going to try? That is a lie that is one of the biggest lies that have been perpetuated, particularly in in um in in low income and minority neighborhoods. Or even and when I say minority, I mean like if you are Italian and you're used to hanging around the mob, if you are in other areas, it's been perpetuated to like this. Hey, you ain't standing on business. I wasn't trying to stand on business. I don't take part in your lifestyle. I didn't sign up for this. If I did, then yes, you can call me a snitch.
I just find it interesting that like it's the same fans who are in the stands yelling at the refs for missing a holding call. Like you call out stuff that will give you a competitive advantage all of the time. Calling Dabo a snitch is wild because
he was supposed to be suspended for the first half of the game. The NCAA, if they forgot about it, that's peak NCAA.
Right. And so I don't know. I just calling Dabo a snitch on this one is funny, but to me it's not true. And a snitch would be like somebody within LSU being like, "Oh, I think we forgot to follow this rule." And that's more of like that commercial, like, "Coach, I touched the ball." Like,
Yeah.
that one where the kid admits to,
Yes, dude, that is
like
insanity.
truthfulness, pass it on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hey,
I
coach.
didn't think Dabo was.
Hey, coach, I touched it. Hey, coach, I touched it. Oh, no, 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 no. It's out on me, man. If you don't shut up, that's why the officials get paid. Is to make calls, and you know what? Sometimes we have to live with bad calls. So if they make a bad call in our favor, shut up. Thank you. And it's
Right,
not
but if the
like
opposing.
telling them is going to change the call. Do you think the ref is going to be like, hey, yo, nah, he's right. He said he touched it, so I'm going to reverse this call that I'm not allowed to reverse. It's insane. Oh, fair play. No, that's why you have the refs there to ensure fair play. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting upset.
All right, speaking of fans getting upset, right or wrong, Mississippi State fans are correct for being upset at Kenny Dillingham because he said they have to stay an hour and a half from Starkville because that's the closest hotel that isn't a casino.
It's Wrighster. What do you want to do? Put the kids in Tupelo at the gambling house at the riverboat? I bet you Mississippi State would love that. They would love that. So Arizona State players don't show up for the game and or are tired or get jammed up, get arrested, mess around with some of the prostitutes in the casino, and then miss the game because they get arrested and so they can win. Of course, he would love that. I, it's it's the truth. I mean, what else do you want? That would be like Dabo getting mad because it was like, hey, yo, we had to stay an hour away from Clemson. There's only like 11,000 people that live in Clemson. There's no major hotels there. I didn't see any there. They may have one that's just for the opponents for when they come in town. That may be it.
Right, but you need, like, it's not like he said there's no hotels for people to stay at.
Yeah.
It's 160 people. They also need to meet and get like the facilities
So
for
you
the
need at least
logistics
a
matter.
hundred hotel rooms. At least 100 hotel rooms. Plus
And he was also
ballroom
talking about
space.
learning. He didn't know. Like, he's saying he's learning now that they're in this
Yeah.
new conference that, like, they went to Texas Tech last year. They ate the hotel food. 10 guys got sick. So now they have to, like, know what people's dietary restrictions are, bring extra food. I think he was talking about just learning about the process of travel. I don't think he was insulting Starkville. I don't think Kenny
No.
Dillingham's that stupid.
No. And I don't think it's going to matter except for I was a little sketch on how Arizona State played. I am not. I'm feeling good about their number two in the Big 12 in the predictions, but I also don't feel good about my number one team either. So there's
Well,
that. I
hey, I
feel
don't
I
know
feel
how they
better.
played because,
I feel best about Utah right now, if I'm being honest.
well, I don't know how they played because I watched on ESPN Plus. So somebody's gonna have to inform me of how Arizona State played. All right, next up, Reister or wrong. These fan challenges for clout have gone too far. Last year we had somebody shove a 7-layer burrito up there behind somebody else promised to eat dog crap out of a cup. And now somebody is having to walk 46 miles because they said they'd walk a mile for every point Montana State lost to Oregon by. Have these challenges for losing games for clout, have they gone too far?
100%. Now, first and foremost, I like people who actually back them up. Like this dude who's walking the 46 miles because of the Oregon Montana State game. He was like, I'll walk a mile a mile in a single day for every single point that they get beat by, because they're not gonna lay down, blah blah blah. Because Montana State is not a good FCS program. They're a great FCS program. They are going to beat lesser uh, FBS programs. If you line them up against Northwestern, Montana State might win, particularly after that Tulane game. So it's not that. So I don't mind his because he's actually doing it. And I didn't mind, but it's when people tell, I'll stuff a whole burrito in my butt. I'll stuff a burrito in my ass and then eat it. Like, come on, bro. Shut up. Shut up. It's too far. I ignore those people because now you're just like the person who's like shock value going up to the guy on the street and just throwing a Slurpee on him and then running away. Okay, we've seen this before, and actually I hope that they catch you or you get hit by a car, but don't die.
I
Just
did
have
one
to
last
spend
year.
a couple days in the hospital.
I did one last year. It was never going to happen, and so I felt safe doing it. But I said I would camp in my backyard for a month if ASU finished last in the Big 12 because they were picked last.
Yeah.
But we knew better. It
Yeah.
was never in a million years was that going to happen. And so, and it wasn't even for
And
clout. It was just
camping in
me
your
saying this is
backyard for
impossible.
a week is doable. And that's
It's
something
true.
that you
It's
can,
true.
yeah, that'd be some good content. Everything else, like, there's nothing to be upset about
Yeah, I mean, people don't know I fall asleep on accident out there all the time, sitting by the fire, just pass out.
that. Dude,
People don't know that that's what I'm already doing.
dude, my
All right,
son, Caden asked me when I picked him up from the airport yesterday. He was like, Dad, is Nisha home sleep? I was like, I'm assuming so. Why? He was like, are you sleeping in there? I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, I don't know, because sometimes you don't be sleeping there. So I just wanted to make sure everything was good. I was like, nah, because she'll take Roman to go to bed sometimes, 8:30 or so, and I'm still watching something on TV. And now I'm an old man. I'm falling asleep at like 9:15 on the couch. And he'll come downstairs at like 12 or 1. He'll be like, Dad's sleeping on the couch. But Dad's not actually sleeping on the couch because I'll get up when I go pee and go up to the room. But yeah, so I forgot why I told that story, but yeah, that was
lat. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'm just old. All
it.
right,
Yeah.
last one. Rice, Wrighster wrong. Uh, DMs with assistant coaches should be off limits.
What do you
For
mean?
context, somebody affiliated with NC State, maybe, or maybe even East Carolina, I'm not sure, leaked the DMs of John David Baker, the East Carolina offensive coordinator. He was in need of companionship, apparently, um, and reaching out to various females. Uh, he's got a whole family; they got whole families, and just making conversation, George. And those got leaked ahead of the NC State East Carolina game. They're wrong. That type of stuff should be off limits.
Wrong. Wrong. This is warfare. We need every advantage that we can get, and if you can throw him off his game, throw him off his game. Nah, I'm joking, bro. This is the problem, right? Is that people think that things are secret, particularly in DMs, and they're not. Like, once you press send, you don't know. Like, you have lost control of what. I mean, even just a regular text conversation, Ralph. If me and you are in a text conversation, the minute that I send anything to you. I mean, even if it's good morning, Ralph. How are you doing? What time you want to do the pod today? Whatever it is I send. If I send a naked picture of a girl, which I never have to you, I just want to point
No, you have
point that
not.
out. I'm using that as an example. Like, I've lost control of that information at that point in time. So whether you choose to use it, you accidentally leave your phone out, somebody takes a picture of it, Something like it has been like it. You have lost control of everything at the point in time you send something. It's over. So you just have to hope against hope that it never comes out, and sometimes it will. So it's a dangerous game, technology, and we're not even talking about sending nudes and all of that stuff. We just talking about regular anything you send. It is out of your control the moment you send it. So be careful what you send it.
Be careful for sure. And I did forget one. I want to throw it out there. Wrighster or wrong, Oklahoma and Texas A&M fans have a right to be upset that R.C. Slocum and Barry Switzer publicly said they were rooting for Texas against Ohio State because of their relationship with Archie Manning.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. 100% wrong. Now, Ralph, on a scale from 1 to 100, how much do you think I love the Oregon Ducks?
99, just because I know how you feel about your kids.
So if one of my kids ends up, because I'm of the opinion, like would I love my kids play at Oregon? 100%. But it is always going to be what is the best place for them to go to school, to play ball, to whatever. That is going to be the North Star of the decision. Even if that goes against my own allegiance, because it's his or her life. So if the best place for my kid to go to school was Washington, it would feel gross to me. I would want to throw up. However, if he's wearing that ugly purple and gold, do you know who I'm gonna be cheering for every single week, even when they play the Ducks? The Huskies. That's who I will cheer for.
That almost
And
didn't come out.
yeah, I will wear an ugly. I don't know if I wear an ugly purple shirt, but I will. It will be support. It will be support. I cannot lie. So
I think you almost like it that my oldest son wants to go to Washington because you'll get him on the phone sometimes and just be able to start taking digs.
yes, yes, yes.
Well, and the crazy thing about this is it didn't involve Texas A&M or
Yeah,
Oklahoma at all.
they just feel like they own your fandomship because you used to play for them or used to coach for them. Bro, you know how long ago that was? They were paying me. That's why I was there. Do you know that Barry Switzer left there? Well, actually, no. Barry Switzer was unemployed when the Cowboys hired him. So he was already gone. But if Jerry Jones had called him while he was still employed, what would he have done?
I get paid.
Yes,
Probably.
loyalty for coaches only goes, for the most part, only goes so far as long as
Yeah.
they're paying you. There is
The
uh,
same thing. The same thing John Mateer did to Washington State.
yes, I love Washington State, but I got to go get this money. and they're
Exactly.
rooting for somebody that they have a relationship with, and they're not rooting for Texas, they're rooting for Arch Manning. So they want him to be successful, but I guarantee you, as soon if Barry Switzer has Oklahoma in his heart, as soon as Arch leaves, it'll be back F Texas. Bet you. It's just a temporary thing. It's okay. You love who you love.
So let's week 2 is coming up. It's coming up quick. What 3 things are you most looking forward to in week 2, week 2 of college football season?
Oh, I want to see what Oklahoma State and Oregon's game is going to look like after this back and forth between the coaches, because we saw what happened the last time somebody trash talked Dan Lanning with and when a team was acting up, oh, we got a bloodbath with Colorado. And I am excited to see how that's going to turn out. And because so I've been helping out coach high school football, and the one of the biggest things that well, and in the last game, Sierra Canyon was playing Oaks Christian. It was 56-0 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left at halftime. Sierra Canyon has the ball back with like 2:20, throws a bomb, gets caught on the 10-yard line. They're up 56-0. It's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left when they line up on the ball. Coach calls a timeout. Sierra Canyon's coach calls a timeout. They're on the 10 going in. What do you think they did, Ralph?
Well, if you're calling a timeout and you're throwing bombs, you're probably running it right down their throat.
Nope. Called the timeout and took a knee going into the half. Took 3 knees.
That's actually pretty funny. That's pretty
Took
funny. That's almost funnier.
Yes. Took 3 knees instead of like we're gonna show you mercy. We just showed you that we could have scored if we wanted to. More. It's already 56-0. We could have made it 63-0. And the coach looked over at me and was like, "Ooh, should I take a knee here or should I score?" I was like, "Sweep, sweep the leg. Put all the points up. If he dies, he dies. Score 100." And he was like, "I think I'm gonna take a knee instead." I was like, "Hey,
What are you
whatever."
supposed to do if you're Oaks Christian in that situation? Would you say thank you? Like if
No,
someone comes in and
I'm
steals
ready
your
to
girl,
fight you. I'm ready to fight you. You just took a knee on
like
me?
if someone comes in and they steal your girl, but they pay off all your debts, so they didn't leave you with any bills, but they took your girl.
They took your
So they
girl,
showed you
they took your
mercy,
family. They're calling him dad. And then he's
but
like,
they paid
"Hey,
off your
yo,
car
but I
note.
paid your car off though. I paid your car off though, because I didn't want you to be left with nothing. Paid your rent for a year at the new apartment because you got to get up out of here."
Yeah, so sometimes mercy is a bigger insult
Yes.
you know
Um,
than a slow death, I guess.
yeah. I'm also looking forward to Duke, Illinois, because I want to see Mensa versus good competition, a quarterback at Duke, and first test for my boys. For my boys, the Illinois Fighting Illini, who I am riding with all the way to the playoffs this year. And if they get beat by Duke, I am going to be terrified because that would have meant Clemson already lost, Illinois would have lost. I'm whoever I'm riding with this year, you would probably want me to jump off the bandwagon if that happens. And then the last thing is Bama ULM, Louisiana Monroe. And you're probably like, "George, why the hell do you cared about that game?" Because the last time that so in Nick Saban's first season, I think ULM was still FCS, maybe, right? And
Yes.
either that or they were, yeah. Uh there was
Or
like,
the worst team in FBS.
yes,
They used to
correct.
be the worst team in FBS.
Yes. And Nick Saban lost to him. And that was the last time that they lost to a group of 5. Yeah, that's what it was, a group of 5 opponent in the non-conference. And so that's why I got my eye on that, because wouldn't that be apropos for ULM to win this game? And Kalen DeBoer is 5-5 in his last 10 games, going back to last season, which feels bad. They beat Georgia and then the wheels came off.
I'm not reveling in what's happening to Alabama right now, but maybe if they, I don't know, maybe it'll wake Nick Saban up out of his slumber and make him want to come back. That'd be fun. And DeBoer's going to land on his feet. He's a very good coach. It's just
Yep.
some the SEC isn't for everybody. My
Yes.
3 real quick. I am very, very excited for Ole Miss Kentucky because we listened to Lane Kiffin complain about not being in the college football playoff. And the reason they weren't in the college playoff is they lost to Kentucky. And if it happens again, and this game's in Lexington, and the Wildcats are tricky in Lexington, if it happens again, I don't want to hear from Lane Kiffin anymore. I really don't.
Yes. No.
But if they go out and they smash Kentucky, then it's like, yeah, start talking.
No. Well, start talking, but don't start crying. Don't start crying, because as soon as Lane starts focusing on things outside of football, oh, the college football playoff, the SEC, the this, the that, stuff starts going left. Keep your eye on the prize. Stop drinking the rat poison. Um, and you guys, college football apostles. Do we have anything else, or are we done?
Well, I will just say Chuba Purdy versus Jaden Rashada is this weekend. 3 years ago, that would have been everybody's marquee matchup. And I'm going to say something.
Nevada
I just want
versus
to
Sac
float it
State.
out into the Nevada versus Sac State.
Ooh,
Very excited for that. 2-0-1 teams going to battle.
okay. I would say it
And
would
then
be
I
a
got
fair fight, but
one,
it's not going to be.
probably not. I got one more thing to throw out there, and I just want to say it, put it out in the universe, and get your reaction before we shut down.
Okay.
At this point in time, there is a running back out there who has 170 carries to start his college career. He's averaging 8 yards a carry to start his career.
Okay.
He's already got 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, and I'm not saying he's Reggie Bush, but I'm not saying it.
Who is this?
Louisville's Isaac Brown.
Ooh, okay. Well, that is
So
one to watch,
I
Mr.
have my eye
Isaac
on
Brown.
him the rest of the way.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair. Because that means that we should all have our eye on the kid as well. You guys, I'm George Wrighster. He's Ralph Amsden. This is the College Football Apostles. Make sure you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. Peace out. Catch you guys next Tuesday.